In the fall of 2003, a small Kentucky town was shaken by the mysterious disappearance of a local librarian. Her last known words were caught in a voicemail to her sister. "Don't come looking for me. They're not what you think they are. It's coming out of the woods." For over 20 years, no one has been able to explain what happened to Margaret Hale, or who, or what, she was running from. Margaret Hale wasn't the kind of woman who made the news. At 42, she lived a quiet life in Ashburn, Kentucky, a place where gossip spread faster than the wind through the cornfields. She'd worked at the Ashburn Public Library since her 20s. People remembered her for her calm voice, the way she'd recommend books about resilience, or how she'd bring cookies to story hour. She had no husband, no children, just her younger sister, Elaine, who lived 2 towns over. Margaret's life was predictable, until it wasn't. On October 14, 2003, Margaret stayed late at the library. She was helping catalog a shipment of donated books. Security footage shows her leaving at 8:56 p.m., locking the front door and waving to the night guard. She drove off in her silver 1998 Toyota Corolla. At 9:47 p.m., Elaine's phone rang. She didn't answer in time. The voicemail that followed would become one of the most chilling recordings in Kentucky's history. Elaine later described her sister's voice as terrified, like she'd seen something she couldn't understand. "Elaine, if you get this, please don't come looking for me. They're not what you think they are." Then there's a faint sound, like dragging metal, and a whisper. "It's coming out of the woods." The call ended with a short gasp and silence. Elaine reported her missing less than an hour later. At 6:15 a.m., police found Margaret's car on Mill Creek Road, a narrow, forest-lined path about 2 miles from her house. The driver's door was open. The headlights were on. The keys were still in the ignition. Inside were her purse, her library ID, a half-eaten granola bar, and her reading glasses, folded neatly on the passenger seat. The ground around the car was wet and muddy, but there were no footprints leading away. The only strange detail: a long, rust-colored streak ran across the back bumper, later confirmed not to be blood, but oxidized metal. Something had scraped her car. Something large. Detectives combed through phone records, her home, and her work life. No signs of struggle. No forced entry. No suspicious calls. Her computer history showed she'd spent the previous evening searching for. How long can someone survive lost in the woods? And voices in the forest at night. Local legends, Kentucky. Bloodhounds tracked her scent into Mill Creek Forest, but lost it after half a mile near an old abandoned ranger cabin. Inside that cabin, they found a single item, a page torn from a library book, pressed against the floorboards. The line underlined in red ink read, "The truth lives in the silence." A week later, a hunter came forward. He claimed he saw a woman in a blue sweater walking along the creek bed around 10 p.m. the night Margaret vanished. When he called out to her, she turned, slowly, but didn't respond. When he shined his flashlight on her, she vanished behind the trees. Investigators dismissed it as a mistaken sighting until 2015. 12 years later, a hiker discovered an old cassette recorder wedged between rocks near the same creek. It was water damaged, but still functional. When the police restored the tape, they heard a faint, trembling female voice, Margaret's voice, saying, "It followed me home." Theory 1. The stalker. Some locals believe Margaret was being followed. Months before she vanished, she told a coworker she'd been finding muddy footprints near her back door every morning. Police records show she called 911 once in September to report someone knocking at her window after midnight, but no one was ever found. Theory 2. Psychological breakdown. Her internet searches, the cryptic note, and the paranoia suggest she might have suffered from a mental collapse, running into the woods to escape imaginary fears. Yet experts argue that someone in that mental state wouldn't leave behind their glasses, ID, or car lights on. Theory 3. Something unseen. This one's harder to prove, but locals swear that Mill Creek Forest has always been wrong. Strange noises, missing animals, and a long history of disappearances, 3 others between 1978 and 1996, all near the same stretch of creek. Each one unsolved. Elaine never changed her number, in case her sister ever called again. Every year on October 14th, She drives to Mill Creek and leaves a book on the car path where Margaret's vehicle was found. She says she does it because Margaret loved stories, and I hope somewhere she's still reading. In 2020, after 17 years, the state declared Margaret Hale legally deceased. But to this day, Elaine refuses to believe it. As of today, no suspects have ever been charged. No remains have been found. The voicemail, the fingerprints, and the cassette recorder are all still locked in the evidence room of the Ashburn County Sheriff's Department, a haunting archive of a case that still feels unfinished. And if you drive down Mill Creek Road on a foggy night, locals say your phone signal drops. And sometimes, you might get a call from a blocked number. When you answer, all you'll hear is breathing and a faint whisper. It's coming out of the woods. This is the case of Margaret Hale, the woman who called for help and vanished forever. If you found this story chilling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves unsolved mysteries. Because some stories don't end. They just wait in the dark.